My name is Steven Salaman. I'm the student government president here at Bunker Hill Community College. I'm very happy to see everybody here today. I'm honored to introduce the United States Senator Scott Brown. As a student government president, I am once inspired to introduce one of the many great individuals that have come down to our campus to share their thoughts and insights on behalf of our college. Bunker Hill Community College is the largest community colleges in the state and one of the most diverse institutions of higher education here in Massachusetts. We promote open discussion and dialogue on campus to over 13,500 students, a population that will also increase by 15% next semester. We have students from over 100 countries that speak 75 different languages on a daily basis. Today, Scott Brown will speak on civility and bipartisanship. As you might know, Senator Brown serves on the Committee of Armed Services, the Committee of Veterans Affairs, and the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, as well as the Senate Committee on Small Businesses and Entrepreneurship. Prior to his election, the United States Senator served in both the Massachusetts House of Representatives and House of Senate. I was excited to learn that Senator Brown is also a 32-year veteran of our American National Guard and currently holds the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the he holds the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Judge Advocacy for General JAG Corps. We have a large population of veterans on our campus, and we deeply appreciate their service to our country. Senator Brown is a local. He is a graduate of Wakefield High School, Tufts University, as well as Boston College School of Law. He lives in Wrentham with his wife Gail and two daughters, Haley and Ariana. Please, let's give a warm Bunker Hill welcome to our United States Senator, Scott Brown.
Hollywood, thank you very much. I was telling him upstairs, I actually went to, Sergeant Major, how are you? Good. I told him I was in D.C. and I saw KC and the Sunshine Band and the song is the Hollywood Shuffle. So I asked him to sing it. He says he knows the song, everyone sings it to him, so that's a good thing. Obviously, I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to see all of you here. My daughter Ariana is here. She just came home unexpectedly, and so give a wave. Listen, it's great to be here with all of you at Bunker Hill Community College, and I appreciate the chance to come and speak with all of you here. And I know that Bunker Hill gives opportunities to many people of many and different ages, and that's a good thing. And as you know, Bunker Hill is a credit to the community and to the surrounding area communities as well. It's nice to also visit a college campus when I don't have the only truck outside, so that's also a good thing. And I'm guessing a few of the students here are members of the Charles River Battalion of the ROTC. And so if any of those future reserve officers are here watching, please a special, obviously, shout out to all of you for your service and your future service, so thank you. And I also want to send out my condolences to the family and the entire Bunker Hill community for the recent loss of Stephen Perez. As you know, Stephen was a veteran who served in our country in both Iraq and Afghanistan and was now pursuing his academic career right here in this college. His death was senseless, as you know, and I join everyone here today in remembering his life and mourning his loss, and I'd ask you all just to take a moment and pause to honor his legacy. Thank you very much. Listen, if first impressions are worth anything, then there are some outstanding teachers here at Bunker College, as you all know. I have to admit, to be able to come and teach at 12 o'clock midnight until 2:30 in the morning is something very special. It takes a very special person to go do that, and it takes very special students to be able to have the dedication and drive to actually want to get up and come to school at 12 midnight and pursue their dreams, and that's a good thing. And I was fortunate enough, like many of you, to meet some good teachers along the way. I sure needed them then, and they sure made a difference in my life back then. And there's nothing like the influence and example of good teachers, whether we meet them as kids or now in our college years, as you all know. You each can attest to that very fact. So I'm especially grateful to the faculty members who are here today. I know there are some, I've seen some. And I want to, I know that being a teacher represents one of the best callings in life. To be able to mold and develop somebody in a good way is a good thing. And that's something to be very, very proud of. As you may have heard, we're getting close to another big election here in Massachusetts, and my name's on the ballot again. But I want to just let you know that you're in luck, because I will not be talking about politics here today. So that's how you Yeah, really. Trust me, I agree with you. That's a good thing. But I do want to share a few things I've learned along the way about my public service, a few lessons that apply. It seems to me wherever your political point of view is, and wherever you're going in the future, I'm hopeful that my couple of the things that I say may stick, and you may take them with you in your development as an adult, young adult or otherwise. And what I found is it starts with the basic openness towards others, a habit of giving people the benefit of the doubt. And here again, I think of some of the early influences that actually came to me in my life. And for those of you who don't know me at all, you may say, well, you know, I've never met Senator Brown, I don't know much about him. Well, my mom and dad were married and divorced 4 times each. And right now my dad's happily married and my mom's happily divorced, and that's a good thing, trust me. Trust me. And I lived in 17 houses by the time I was 18. And many of you know about the physical and sexual abuse I was subjected to, and you know, I still remember not only those experiences, but when my mom worked 2 or 3 jobs to put a roof over our head for my sister and I. And also when she needed a hand and when she was on welfare for a period of time to get back on her feet. It was there as a safety net, not as a lifelong entitlement. And I also reflect back to my teenage years when, let's just say, you know, the potential wasn't really that obvious. Maybe on the basketball court, maybe it was some sporting things. But at that point, I, like maybe many of you at some point in your lives, didn't have a heck of a lot going for me. I wasn't anyone's idea of a model student, and I didn't have the kind of background and connections that kind of soften that landing if you happen to fail or fall hard. I didn't have that kind of safety net that some others have. And the closest thing I had to an influential connection was a judge in Salem, Massachusetts, who was a good man who saw fit to give me a break and a second chance when I appeared before him as a juvenile for shoplifting. It was that experience, quite frankly, that changed my life. And let me tell you, when everyone seems to write you off as a lost cause, maybe you felt that very same way as I did at one point. And one believes in you, and one person actually takes the time and actually believes in you, then that's the someone and something that you'll never ever forget in your life. And that experience has stuck with me till today. And I think it changed me for the better. It made me a better person. Never to give up, never to forget where you came from. And I learned not to make snap judgments about people, especially harsh ones. I try not to divide people up into easy categories. You know what I'm talking about. Every single one of you in this room knows what I'm talking about. Assuming the best because they agree with me, or, quite frankly, the worst because they don't agree with me. Especially in politics. Especially in politics. I found it's the only way to operate. If you go around assigning bad motives to everyone who might think differently, then you know, you'll end up with a lot more enemies. A lot more enemies than achievements. You know, I find it's the low road, you know, if you take that approach, and that, quite frankly, leads to a dead end. And that's not what I support at all. You know, you see, the problem in Washington is as soon as you arrive there, folks, as soon as I arrived in Washington, and as soon as other people arrive in Washington, you realize the town is bitterly divided. And you see it, and it's divided into 2 sides. One good and one bad. One good and one bad. And everyone believes that they're on the good side. Yeah, everyone believes they're on the good side. And the other side are all the bad guys. Well, you know, people don't just challenge your ideas, they challenge your motives too. Can you believe that? going down to a place that's the pillar of our democracy, and the good and the bad, and challenging not your ideas but your motives behind those good ideas. And people don't view each other as good people trying to achieve good things in different ways. They look at each other as enemies that need to be defeated at all costs. It's like a blood sport. It's amazing. It's any wonder, well, let me ask you, is it any wonder that nothing really gets done down there? Of course not. And I try to be mindful of that each and every day, that while we may disagree on how to get there, we're all trying to get to the same place. And that place is a better America. When I take a position, when I'm in Washington or in my daily life, I take it because I believe it's a better choice for our country. If someone disagrees with me, it's not because they prefer our country to be worse off. I know that. They believe that what they do is a good thing for the same reason I believe what I do is for good as well. They think that their ideas will lead to a better, stronger, and more prosperous nation for ourselves and our grandchildren, and I do too. I have found since I've been there, that if you start from a basic premise that everyone is trying to get to the same place, and that we are Americans first, not Democrats or Republicans or independents, but Americans first, it makes it a lot easier to break through the gridlock and actually get things done. And that's a novel idea, huh? Actually working together, not as Democrats, independents, or Republicans, but as Americans first. And it's not that politics doesn't get involved in these real battles, these daily battles. Of course there's politics, and of course there are clear winners and losers. In a two-party system, things are bound to get a little rough sometimes, and throughout history we've seen it. They always have. It's part of who we are as Americans, that freedom and democracy that our forefathers fought for, and that's what they wanted. They wanted a little friction, but they also wanted us to move forward and solve problems. People elected to the House and Senate are supposed to have serious, principled disagreements. We want people with convictions and backbone, not a bunch of pushovers who agree on every little thing because they, in fact, believe in nothing. But unfortunately, too many people in Washington would rather, quite frankly, have a good brawl instead of passing a good bill. And that's very, very frustrating. And it's that attitude alone that prevents us from dealing with all of our other problems. And there are many, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, each and every one of you in this room. We in the Congress have serious business to take care of still before the election season comes to pass. Like saving America from a debt crisis, fixing entitlements before they break us and are not there anymore, sustaining the investments necessary in the defense of this great country. And it's hard even to have an honest discussion about these challenges in Washington, much less to actually face them together with agreements and votes. It's exceedingly frustrating. And for 3 years now, the United States Senate, believe it or not, has not even passed a budget. Can you imagine that? 3 years? Try that in your house. Try that in your business. Try that here in the college. I know the president right now, I was just talking to her, she's up there wrestling with the budget right now, trying to figure out how to pay the bills and pay the salaries here. Try doing that here. It wouldn't work. The United States Senate hasn't passed a budget in 3 years. Listen, people expect us to do a budget. The law requires us to do a budget, but in the current environment, even this basic duty never gets carried out. And that's frustrating as well. And we get around it with so-called continuing resolutions and kind of kicking the can down the road, coming up with new rules and kind of avoiding the responsibility that you know that we have. That's what you sent us down there to do. And this is nobody's idea of the way the American government should operate. And here's how I look at it. There has to be a basic respect. There has to be a basic respect across party lines. Without it, all you're going to get are bad laws and a lot of ill will.